One fellow traders. Good evening. It's Sunday evening. I just wanted to do a broadcast here live as we have gold dropping from the sky, as you've probably seen. And, I just sent out the latest Araujo report a few hours ago, and our members were reading it, and the forecast was that we should be expecting gold to drop. From what we saw over the last few weeks, the evidence was building up to the point where it just became quite evident that the banks had no intentions of taking price to the upside. And so therefore, if they don't have intentions to take price to the upside, then the next logical direction is to the downside. And last week was a big week, okay? Last week was a very big week. We talked about this in the Araujo report as well. And I was pinpointing some of the things that were taking place in the markets with price action specifically, and what the banks were doing with price action. And so, specifically, we were looking at the dollar, we were looking at the euro US dollar, and we were looking at gold, we were looking at USDCAD, we were looking at oil. And all throughout the markets, we started to see a dynamic shift, okay? And that is what really sealed the deal on what was likely going to happen this week. So, as we've always done, we love to look at what retail traders are doing with their positions, because I think it's always a very key indicator as to what is taking place, because as we know, the banks are extremely good at luring retail traders into taking the opposing side of their positions. So let me just bring this up because I think this is really important to have a look at. So if we take a look, what do we have here? Okay, what do we have here, folks? Look at the euro US dollar. What are most traders doing right now? They're going long, all right? What did I post in the Telegram channel? Look at gold, look at oil. Look at both of these. Major long, all right? Retail traders are holding long positions on oil and on gold, which is exactly what they should not be doing, all right? And so we were looking at this, and we were seeing them slowly starting to build up their positions at the most improper time, and look what's happening now. You think a lot of traders are getting hurt right now? I'd say so, okay? You see that extra little spike to the downside? You know what that is? That's a lot of people getting out of long positions right there, all right? Unfortunately, that is what's going on, because you get the initial move, and you get, some stops being hit. You get traders looking at the markets, and all of a sudden they're seeing just how big their losses are becoming, and they start to freak out, and they start thinking, what's going on here? My analysis is wrong. Why isn't this rallying up? And they freak out, and they close their positions. And what happens when you freak out and start closing long positions? Okay, or long positions, right? It'll just ting, 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 ting. All the stop losses. Stop losses there, stop losses there, stop losses there, stop losses there. Okay? And God knows how many people were buying as it continued to go lower and lower, because you see that a lot as well, right? People buying as it goes lower, then they put stop losses below previous lows and all that stuff. Well, that was a big spike to the downside. That's a lot of orders being eaten up there. So, unfortunately, a lot of people lost money. Okay, but if they were members of the school or members of the Telegram channel, they would have been safe, because we've been warning against opening up positions. Okay, let me take a little snapshot here of what I wrote earlier today before the markets opened. I just wanted to point this out. Here's a little snippet that I put in there. Gold finished off the week with a bearish engulf, which could likely be the start of a further drop in price. We may not have a switch zone in play at the moment. Difficult to really tell as it is not the common switch zone. Nonetheless, with the lack of upside structures being formed, no uptrends on the daily or weekly, we can only conclude that as the monthly demand continues to be eaten up, we will likely see gold drop in the coming weeks. Well, lo and behold, it happened a lot faster than I had originally thought it would take place in. But this is a massive drop, okay? And we talk about these type of drops in the school a lot, all right? And so not to go into much detail, but what is going to take place over time is right now, I mean, look at that big spike. That's a huge spike. Now look at the big wick to the upside, all right? This is very emotional trading, what's happening here. This is very emotional. This is retail traders getting screwed big time, all right? That's what's happening right here. So what's going to happen is it's going to take time for price to settle down, because that's what's going to happen. Price is going to settle down. It's going to start to form properly formed candles, and then we'll see exactly what is taking place, okay? Because right now we got that big spike in price, but this can go all the way up into this area of demand here, and then start to form proper candles, and then start moving up, all right? So we're going to be watching for that because we want to see what the banks are doing, all right? And the banks are forming the properly structured candles. Anything outside of that is usually a big clash between banks and retail traders. So we don't want to see big clashes between banks and retail traders, because that tends to be very difficult to determine exactly what is happening. So we like to see nicely structured candles, okay? Nicely structured candles tell us a very clear story. Now, it's very clear what just happened today with this big drop, but we want to see this come up, start to sit inside the zone, outside the zone, below the zone. Whatever it does, it's going to tell us something very important. But we're going to be keeping our eye on this. And throughout the week, we'll check in here with gold. We'll look at the gold chart. We'll see what the banks ended up doing with it. But at the end of the day, this is a big move. Okay, and I don't believe this is going to be the end of it. All right, so we go into that in more detail in the Araujo report, but overall, over the longer period of time, we do suspect that the banks are preparing to take this one further. All right, so this big rally up in price here, this could start luring retail traders into getting long. Okay, but I believe they're going to be shown pretty quickly that was a wrong decision, okay? Because after taking such a big loss, the one thing they want to do is revenge trade and say, well, with this big spike, I'll get down here, I'll get in long down at the lows, ride this one to the upside, and hopefully profit, okay? But we do suspect that we will likely see more downside. Now, let's take a little brief look at oil. What do we see with oil? Now, oil is so far doing what we had suspected it would, okay? And I'll do a brief snapshot of what we wrote with respect to oil. And I'll show you that right now. Oil is breaking through the weekly uptrend line and therefore opens the doorway for a move lower. We previously had a weekly demand contacted, but then price reversed back down, likely move now is the monthly demand, and then possibly the 3-month demand even lower. So we do have targets, okay, down here. We do have targets. We do have a forecast of this happening in time. Now, it could take this week. It could take next week. Who knows? It's hard to say. You just saw with gold, right? We had targets of a move lower, all right? We forecasted a move lower, and boom. Within a few hours on Sunday, that big move takes place. So how long is it going to take for this move? We don't know, okay? Knowing the exact time frame that things are going to happen is usually very difficult to tell. But from what we're seeing on the charts, a move lower is definitely in the works, okay? We can tell you that right now. It is definitely in the works. So we're seeing that. And it's really correlating well with what we're seeing with the USCAD too. USCAD is looking pretty good for a move up. And as we know, oil gets weak, Canadian dollar usually gets weak. So those two are really in line with each other. All right. Another thing I'll point out is we'll take a quick look here at the Euro US dollar, because I believe the Euro US dollar is setting up for a big move. All right. It's going to happen, and it's going to happen soon. Very soon is what I am thinking. But what I'm seeing here with the euro is we talked about this in the latest Araujo report as well. And I spoke about what we are seeing taking place with the euro, okay? What the banks are not doing. And one of the first things I wrote here, the article I wrote about, called The Maze of the Markets. Okay, the reason why I titled this The Maze of the Markets is because the markets to me is like a maze, right? You could be watching something from up above, and you can place, sometimes scientific experiments have been done where they take a mouse and they put them at the beginning of a maze, and they just watch from above to see where the mouse is going to go. Because at the beginning, you don't know exactly where it's going to go, but if you watch it from above and you watch to see which way it goes, does it go left, does it go right, does it go down this way or down that way? When you see what direction they go in, then you can see where it leads to, okay? And the market for me is very much like that. We come across times where we don't know exactly where the markets are going to go based on the dynamics of all the time frames. Lack of trends, prices in a range. There's a lot of things that could be taking place that would cause us not to know exactly where price is going to be heading into. But what we do know is we can look at what price is currently doing. And we can see where price is going. And based on what areas, what boundaries, what walls are removed, or what walls are respected, we can see where price is heading towards. Now, when we look at the euro, I can tell you right now that we are sitting right now inside an area of institutional demand, right here, okay? Institutional demand. But if this area gets taken out by the banks, which is very likely to take place based on all the evidence that we've gathered from the markets this past week, this is likely going to head down here like this. Okay, we're going to see 116.50s and possibly even lower. And possibly even down here, the low 116s. That's what we're seeing in terms of the euro. Okay, and this is going to happen as soon as this area of demand takes place. Now, it could retrace up and do, some shenanigans up and down. But the bottom line is, if this gets taken out, we are set to see a big drop in price. All right? So I want you to be aware of that going into the week. So if you're thinking about trading, whatever you do, do not do what retail traders are doing, okay? Whatever you do not do what your average retail trader is doing, because they're getting in long. And that is not the way you want to be with the euro, okay? The last position you want to be holding is a long position on euro right now, okay? All the evidence is suggesting that price is going to drop, so don't be getting in long. So be careful of that. Keep that on watch. If you're trading, if I had to open up a trade right now, it would be short the euro, okay? But I wouldn't be opening it up until I saw this area get taken out first. Once this area gets taken out, then it's like breaking through a dam, and then the water starts flowing. You don't want to be getting in too early, because there could be, a pushback up on price, and you don't want to be short when it's pushing back up on price like that. So wait until the dam breaks through and then jump into the water. All right? So why don't we hit the like button, share this this link if you can. I would appreciate it. And that's pretty much it. So I just wanted to touch base with you and give you an update on what I'm seeing. When I checked the markets and I saw that gold was just recovering from a massive drop, I wanted to just share with you what we were discovering, what we were talking about in the latest Araujo report, and just get you prepared for what we are seeing about to happen. All right. So again, if you need anything, you know where to reach me. You know the website, www.whiteoakfx.com. And if you need some help with, what direction price is going to get into, what kind of trading setups, if you want to know how to read the markets, if you want to know how to find institutional supply and demand, if you want to know how to stay out of bad trades, you want to learn about trading psychology, you want the EURUSD report and all the in-depth information that is included in here, access to the portfolio, the trade setups that we're looking for, all that good stuff. If you're looking for that and you need that help, then come on board, become a member with us, and we'll be happy to work alongside you. All right? So enjoy the rest of your evening, and thanks for joining me today, and I will talk to you later. Take care, everybody.